Big carry off the back gate. Quick play the ball. Roosters to it. Nice little offload.
So the Roosters now working the ball forward. Maipi jumping into dummy half. Scott Jones goes up over halfway looking for an offload. He had Jared Tua looming on his shoulder. Maipi to Inu, who launches one towards the sky. Taulu beaming down underneath it, but a quality take in the end and then driven back to the 10. And the Hawks will desperately need a solid start to this second spell. Of course, the scoreboard explains most of the story there. Huge job ahead of them. This is Vinny Chan and a penalty to boot. So Mangere East now to get a leg up. It's Maipi that's been pinged. So the kick for touch. Decent one as well. Chewed off plenty of yardage here as the Roosters continue to make their way back into this one. So an ideal opportunity now for the Hawks to strike early and start to climb this big mountain that they have presented themselves with as Tongia is bumped to ground, 15 out from the line. They come through the middle of the park now. This is Vinny Chan, the 28-year-old Mangere East junior, who spent time at Papatoetoe. Howie Brown, first receiver. Ducks back inside. Words exchanged there between a couple of the boys as well. But strong carry towards the SAS uprights, but Atatu hold firm. And what have we got here? Time off. Is there an injury? Potentially so. There's a couple of Atatu players down injured in back play. So back into it now. Brown, the first receiver, goes over the top. Limone, looping ball out wide, and Mangere East hit back. Morgan Missy for it is, who goes over. A try and on the left-hand edge here. Some quick hands. Limone involved in the build-up. And a nice little hit back from the Mangere East Hawks, and Troy, they desperately needed that one early in the second half.
Absolutely. Good way to kick off the first part of the second half. They spread it left. Nice catch and pass, held that up beautifully and just sucked in the defender there, and really 4 points. So as you rightly said, Corey, great for the Hawks to be able to get that up, with only seconds gone.
Nice shot captured there by Pete's filming as well, down in that corner. Conveniently placed, so kick to come. Reduce the margin to 24-8. Dowie with a difficult assignment coming up here. First one was from up against the touchline. This one a little easier. So Dowie steps in. Plenty of power on it, but it is away, so score remains. Waipatera Trust, Atatu Roosters 24, Mangere East Hawks 8, 43 and a bit gone here at Jack Colvin Park. But crucially, the Hawks make a fast start. They could ill afford to concede first in that second spell, so that's the first step. Ball control, though, will be the key. It was their downfall in the first half, and I dare say Richie Blackmore probably had a few choice words about that at the break. So Atatu back into it. Reece Joyce. Moni brings it in. Hands off to Tongia. Both the Tongia brothers had good first halves here at Jack Colvin Park. Lamoni now becomes the makeshift dummy half. Comes back centre field. And what have we got here? Another penalty, I think. No. Told to go back and play it again. Howie Brown. Atatu keeping Mangere East pinned down inside their 40 for the time being. Lemoni jumps out and will kick from dummy half. Pity traps it off the boot, football style. Brings the ball back, cops some punishment as well. He's been pretty brave bringing the ball back. Troy's probably given away a few kgs on some of the guys running at him, but has been nice and busy, as has this man, Cheney Puata, who cops a high shot and looked straight up for it. So now the Roosters get a leg up, and again, Troy, after a positive start, Mangere East, that discipline, whether it be in ball control or giving away penalties, starts to show that it's lacking perhaps in a couple of areas.
Absolutely, and it sort of alleviates the pressure that they're trying to build and sort of runs against them. So, you know, Atatu now just best part of 60, 70 metres down the park, and the Hawks find themselves under immense pressure now as here come the Roosters.
So Johnson with the first carry, pops an offload, and Davis just about went through. Maipi is the dummy half. Johnson comes off the back fence. Another strong carry from the man in the headgear who might have got over here. Held up as the call from Tamarua. And we'll go back out to the 10. But was very, very close that time, Johnson. Tamarua right on the spot. Great positioning from our match official today in the middle. So time back on. Maipi looping ball to Tua. Tua goes out the back to Inu, and Devery was through but just dropped his lollies at the last minute. So pressure relieved for Mangere East. TJ Devery left to rue the missed opportunity as the Hawks now ruck the ball out. David Dyer and Devery teaming up to halt the momentum. .28 off their own line now, Mangere East. Dowie jumps out, spots some retreating markers and chews off a few metres. Now he's appealing for strip here, James Dowie. What's the call? Tamarua says knock on. Dowie not happy about it. So scrum to pack down. This will be a Atatu ball. Impossible to tell on the live vision whether there was a hand in there or not. Tamarua well placed again to make the call as Atatu now pack down the scrum. 7 minutes into the second half here at Jack Colvin. Joyce is the first receiver. Pity. 32 out. Davis jumps into dummy half. Heads now back through the middle of the park, and that's another good carry. Finds his front. Gets it to a nice quick play of the ball. Maipi with options either side. Will go Joyce to Viatupu. Viatupu short at the line. Johnson chopped down and a good tackle from Mangere East, holding their line nicely so far in the second half under a fair bit of pressure. Maipi will centralise now, comes back in field to Afa Viatupu, who has been outstanding in the middle of the park. He's hardly been tackled first time at all, and always commanding the attention of a few defenders. Now that was scrappy. It was more than scrappy, it was an error from Viatupu. So this one will go the way of the Hawks. Mangere East now with a chance to get back into it, and you can see a little bit of frustration, I think, on the face of Mangere East there, Troy. No doubt after last week's match against Northcote, they're aware of the errors that they're making, but seem to be falling into familiar errors again, I guess, and you can just sense a bit of frustration in this team right now.
Yeah, Richie was very animated at half-time, and obviously he G'd them up enough. They came out and scored straight away, so now they just need to have a little bit of patience and, you know, build some pressure and not give away silly penalties.
So back into the action. This is, I think, the 5 for Mangere East. hard to pick up the numbers here. In fact, it's now the 5 for Savala. Hawks Jr. Right towards the middle of the park they come. Lemoni shuffles onto Howie Brown, looping ball up over the top. There's space here if they can get it here. Mangere East, quick hands. Nice stuff. Kiwi tag or touch style. Melissa Lafai taking the ground just short of halfway. Lulia shuffles it on. Lemoni, watch out for the footwork. Gets rid of Joy's. Looping ball. I think that was touched by Atatu. This should be 6 again. Dowie gets there and does well to scoop it up. Johnson quick to set upon him, and 6 again. Thank you to my commentary partner there for picking up that call. So another 6 to play with here, the Mangere East Hawks. Just need a little bit of patience now. It's Dowie. Bumping carry forward there from Ma'amaloa. Nice quick play of the ball. Howie Brown, who's featured heavily so far for the Hawks. Wrapped up easily that time, though, by TJ Devery, who then gets some help. Although, I say wrapped up easily, he's still on his feet, Howie Brown, and will finish on his feet as well. Quick play of the ball. They leave a couple on the ground here. This is better from the Hawks. Into attacking territory, 40 out from the line. Dowie jumps out and has a little run himself. Chips over the top. Dowie is the main chaser. Cheney Puata on the spot. The ball's loose. Oh, Cortez Taulu appeared out of nowhere and then shakes free. And now Taulu goes downfield. Howie Brown, contact up high. Play on is the call. No, it's not. Penalty. And more pleasantries. There's been a little bit of this today. Dowie's got the headgear off. I know it's bad when that's happened. So we'll just wait to hear what the situation will be here. Referee Tom Dora, I think, going to have a chat to both captains, and so touching on as well to obviously it's Dowie's keen to, I think, carry on with it here. Jared Tuitt trying to cook some sense. So penalty will go the way of the Roosters for the high shot and no further action taken. It's hard to see what sort of fired that one up there, Troy, but again, Mangere East certainly well and truly up for this one. As Reece Joyce now looks for touch, puts that one in up over the Dennis Williams terraces, and Atatu will go back on the attack. Reece Joyce back in the game, Troy, after being away. I think he played rugby union last year. He's a great guy to commentate and always exciting.
Yeah, nice to have him back in the game, and he's found himself at home, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for the 2020 season down here.
Devery takes the ball to ground, and more fresh legs on the park, this time in the shape of John Sutterby. Tongia, good contact. Boy, they've been impressive today, Fiel and Poni Tongia, as has this man, Viatupu. Pops the ball out the back, late offload. Maipi going close, but wrestled to ground. They're only about 5 minutes short here, the Roosters, looking to add to this 24-8 lead. 52 and a bit, gone. Davis denied by a brilliant covering tackle. Who was that? I think it was Ilawa, who arrived just in time out on the edge. Johnson has to pick up the bouncing ball. Here's Sutterby, who will just take a settler towards the middle of the park. Last coming up now. Maipi goes to his right, links with Inu. Ball over the top. Dyer steps off the right. Dyer pops the ball. Taulu! 4 points for Cortez. 4 more for Atatu. They extend the lead to 28 points to 8. Kick to come. And a nice little bit of play there from David Dyer to set his winger free. And Cortez Taulu, he doesn't make mistakes from there.
We catch the last part of the action replay here. Big sweeping outside pass. Centre just dragged that 2 defenders in, had the third one on, winger not home, and hello, 4 points, Roosters land. That's what I understand.
Change the kicker as well. Change the kicker here for the Roosters. Reece Joyce. And nails it from the sideline. Well, there you go. So the Roosters stretch the lead. It's now 30 points to 8. 55 gone here at Jack Colvin Park. And really, Troy, after the game probably ebbed and flowed a little, the Roosters completely dominant so far. And every time Mangere East have looked like getting back into the game, it's usually been followed by an error, unfortunately. And now facing a big scoreline, a big deficit, I should say, as the back end of the match approaches. Keen to get back out there and restart, though, Mangere East. So Inu sliding to collect that one, and Sotheby will collect the scraps and charge forward. He's had a couple of good carries since coming on, John Sotheby. Nice quick play the ball there as well. Maipi, who's been sharp at dummy half. Here's Afa Viatupu. Close to their most impressive forward, which is saying something considering Jared Tua's on this team as well. Now, was that up high? Brown is the call. No, penalty coming. So Maipi collected high. Reece Joyce says we'll kick for touch. And more pressure coming now for the Hawks. This Atatu team, super impressive in the championship last year, the Crown Lift Trucks Fox Championship. They've added a little bit of quality in the playing roster. Of course, Coach Phil Gordon hanging around as well. So, aside from a few new players, not much changes, and the Roosters now muscle up. Tongia. Grass flying with his carry. Lulia to Howard Brown. Limoni, watch the footwork. Shakes out of the first one. Dinks over the top, chasing down hard now, but Cheney Puata will get there. Ball comes loose, and he has regathered it, Cheney Puata, but only just. Cortez Taulu now comes in, and David Dyer now spills as the rain starts to pelt down here at Jack Colvin Park. Quick play of the ball. Tongia jumping out, carrying strongly. Deserves a try today, does Poni Tongia. Played really, really well in the 11 jersey. Looping ball over the top. Tauhinu. Rawudi's a dummy half. Howie Brown spots up. Shakes out a one. Howie Brown. Nice work from Howie Brown. Hits back. Will reduce the deficit again. And really just individual brilliance. Looked up. Saw a mismatch that he liked and then had the power to go through. Mangere East 12. Atatu 30. Kick to come.
SAS action replay here. Hawks maintaining a wee bit of pressure on the line here, and as you can see, Brown very elusive at the line, at the defensive line. He's got great footwork for a big boy, and just enough strength there to get across the line. And they needed that extra 4 points. You know, Mangere East was all going their way in the first half. Atatu, though, however, each time they've gone down deep into the opposition's, 10 or 20, they've put points on the board. However, kick to come. We'll be lining this up, and as you rightly said, a little bit of rain starting to come now outside.
Nicely done there by James Dowie. Adds another 2. So 13, 30 I should say, points to 14. 58 and a half gone. Well, they've got time if they're good enough, Mangere East. Certainly does have the look that if they can make things click, they've got points in them. Rain now looks like it's slowing up again. Caused chaos for a moment there. A couple knock-ons as it pelted down. So Joyce gets us back underway. Lamoni. Tongia winds another one up. Leaving one on the ground there. Sol, Tainu. Pakito back on the field. Lemoni to Brown. Looking to go coast to coast here now. The Hawks. To scramble nicely to contain it. Right on halfway. It's Tonga who's taken ground. And he may have picked up a knock there. So there's a player that the Hawks can ill afford to lose. We'll keep an eye on what happens with him as Howie Brown goes up over halfway. There's Miski in the ruck. Lemoni will unleash a high one and a tester now as the rain pelts down here for Cheney. Puata does beautifully. Dowie sets upon him immediately to wrestle him to ground. As the hour mark approaches now, this is Rangi Piri. Taulu. Davis. Nice run from Whairangi Charlie through the middle of the park. He's had another good game. Kalani. Miski back on the field as well. Inu goes to the line, goes over the top to Dyer. Look out, we've seen this one before. Pops the ball back in field. Lemoni does really well. And then manages to stay in the field of play. That's nice work there from Inga Lemoni. Every time David Dyer gets the ball, Troy, they look likely down that right-hand side.
Absolutely. And, they needed to tidy that up quick, smart. And let's hope that, again, the Hawks get to mount some pressure here and go the whole 6 on the set.
Dowie. Akito jumps out, will steal 5 and then pass. Another bit of second phase. Was that knocked on by Howie Brown? Well, it has to be eventually there. So, handover ball. It is looking a lot better for the Hawks when they promote that second phase, but of course in these conditions it does come with its risks, and that time they end up putting the ball down. So Atatu now to pack down. Johnson barking some orders at the troops as well. Big stint from Jared Tua. I don't think he's had a break yet. So the Roosters by Joyce, was that high? Play on the call. They have slipped up after the initial contact now. Ball is loose and we've got a changeover. So Mangere East ball. And now the Hawks get a chance to go back down the other end. And Troy, all of a sudden that rain starting to cause a few issues in this match. A number of knock-ons since that rain has increased.
Yeah, it's deceptive. You can see it just briefly on your television screens, but definitely is starting to build people with their action out there now, and it'll certainly add to the slippiness of the field that we had from this morning.
Bulia taking the ground. Whairangi Charlie is the tackler. Pakiito goes out to his right. This is to the back rower, and it is Ila. Quick play the ball, and penalty to Mangere East. Johnson, the man ruled to have infringed. Paquito. Rain really coming down now. Options left or right here for Paquito at dummy half. Will go the way of Lulia. Goes to the line, plays in Tongia, and Tongia gets driven backwards. That's great work from Atatu. Paquito will centralise. Howie Brown. Looping ball over the top. Lemoni, watch the footwork. Lemoni steps back in. Atatu get there in numbers. Miski holding on for dear life up top. Quick play the ball though. The Hawks now really pushing as Lemoni and Inu exchange words. A bit of fire in this match. Paquito goes back out. They'll start again to some degree here, the Hawks. Howie Brown, powerful carry through the heart. He's already scored 1 try that way. Last play coming up now for Mangere East. Paquito shuffles play on. Kick goes in behind. Devery, I don't think that was knocked on. Caught up in the legs. Knock on is the call. Well, it was a near thing. Had to make a play at it anyway, Devery. So back-to-back sets now coming up for the Mangere East Hawks. And if they're going to do it, you do get the feeling they need to strike in the next few minutes to make a contest of this. Put a bit of scoreboard pressure on the Roosters as that rain now really is pelting down, and this is the heaviest we've seen it today. Lamoni will go down the short side via Pakiito. Slow play of the ball. Vinny Chan to Dowie. Dowie wrestling. Back towards the middle of the park. Lamoni to Brown. It's familiar faces handling the ball in the middle of the park. Driving rain now. Pakiito, Lulia, dummies, goes again, goes wide. Halalilo's back on the field. Well, that's good to see after he picked up that knee injury earlier. Appears to have shaken that one off and now is running freely despite a heavily strapped right knee. Lulia shuffles ball back towards the middle. This is Ilar. Last play coming up now for Mangere East. Big play in the context of this one. Pakiito misses it out. Instead it's an intercept. And now we're going to race away on the left-hand side. Pity looming in support, but Mangere East will get there in time to close it down for the time being at least. He'll stand in the tackle. Good work from Atatu. Good patience shown, but Mangere East, superb scramble defence to get there and close that down. There's a try there. Maybe it's game over as David Dyer bumps the ball forward. Doesn't really go anywhere in a hurry. Reece Joyce back to Junior Pita, fighting in the play of the ball. Jersey stretched up over the shoulders. Gets a nice quick play of the ball though as Miski fires a bit of a wayward pass to Jared Tua, who brings it in. Steps back off the right and has taken the ground 38 metres out from the line now. Atatu. He felt that one, Tua. And it's the ankle. So time off while we deal with that. And didn't really get a good look at that one, Troy. Maybe the ankle just got caught up underneath. Let's hope that Jared's able to shake that off. It'd be a shame to end what has been a really good game on that note.
Yeah, hopefully, that's all it is. I think his body weight was going in the opposite direction of being hit by the defender, but he's back on his feet, mate, and looking okay.
Miski to Pifarangi Charlie, driving those legs. Inu showed, and just as well he didn't throw that one. I think that would have been an intercept. Miski back to his chief playmaker. Reece Joyce puts a kick in behind. That's taken a deflection. What's the call? Penalty Atatu. Accidental offside, I think, will be the call without having use of the ref audio there. And do they look at the post and look to chew a bit of time off here? Atatu, we wait. It does look like they want to tap and keep going, keep the foot down. So into it we go. Here's Junior Pita. Miski, looping ball back towards the middle to Tua. Inu, ball over the top. Look out, Taulu. Another one for Cortez. Atatu celebrate in the front of the picture there. Cortez celebrates another try. And that might just be enough to get them home. Once again, Troy, that right-hand side, which has been so deadly today. And David Dyer sums it up nicely. Cortez Taulu, Johnny on the spot to finish.
Absolutely, and just on the back end of the CTAS Sporting replay here, look at that big cutout pass. Two defenders for the Hawks found wanting. And this guy's had a field day today as he comes in, and the Roosters are home to roost. It's time to bring in the arc, 2x2. They can all get on. 2 Hawks, 2 Roosters. Swimming home from West Auckland today.
And if you're still sitting out there in the Dennis Williams terraces, you deserve a medal. This is some kind of weather we're experiencing right now. We can see one brave soul there in the left-hand corner of the screen as Reece Joyce, who has no choice but to be out there, Steps up and strikes it, but it is away, so will remain a 20-point ball game. Waiparere Trust, Te Atatu Roosters 34, Mangere East Hawks 14. 11 minutes to play. And the Roosters now, you would think, home and safe. Reece Joyce, he's made a real difference to this team today. So back to halfway for another restart here for Mangere East. He's had a fair bit of practice at these today, James Dowie, unfortunately. And the Roosters get back to work via Piwhairangi Charlie. Miski shifts on to Inu, to TJ Devery, who's had a really good game. TJ Devery probably doesn't get as much attention just due to some of the big names in this full pack alongside him, but he's been really solid, particularly defensively. David Dyer now 5 short of halfway. Tua to Pita. Shakes out of the first contact. The arm free, ready to offload, but was quickly wrapped up by Tongia. Reece Joyce puts a high one up towards the skies. Well, good luck bringing this one in. Does really well in the end. Does the 16 for Mangere East, who I think is Louis Lahingoa. Dowie now bringing the ball back off his own line. And, well, Troy, probably a phrase that we've used a couple of times in the past few years. Some really promising glimpses in this Mangere East team, but just that frustration of not being able to put it together consistently right now.
Absolutely, and I mean, you know, they always have a number of players that are sort of there and then, you know, off on their OEs or having troubles across Auckland. But there's some fantastic talent at the Hawks, and just a bit of patience and what have you for some of this. You know, the score would have been a wee bit closer for sure.
And while we are mentioning the Hawks, of course, it's not all about the rugby league. I do want to give a massive shout out to Tash and Val, who run the club, as we see the ball go high, and we'll go back to the play for just a second. Lulia takes it, but is put down, so we'll pack down a scrum. Going Te Atatu's way, they're doing some wonderful things at Mangere East, one of them being the soup kitchen, which they've been running on Tuesday nights. They've also had employment services running out of the club and doing a whole lot of stuff there. This is a rugby league club that is about so much more than just rugby league, and really do genuinely care about their community. So do want to give a big shout out to the Mangere East Hawks. Has not gone their way on the field today, but a wonderful club, and of course they boast a number of junior teams. I think last year from memory they were up around the 50 mark. So a big shout out to everyone doing the work there, and of course the volunteers helping out via the Life Soup Kitchen as well in particular. So the game's sort of starting to get a little messy here, to be kind, and who could forgive them with the weather that's coming down here right now. So time off, well, we've got a bit of a talking to going on here, and a chance, I guess, for us to look ahead to tomorrow's games, as we see 2 players down injured getting a little bit of attention. The Farrelly Photos Women's Premiership and Championship back underway tomorrow. Really looking forward to the grand final rematch between Papakura and the Richmond Roses. It was 6-4 in the grand final, only a conversion in it last time around. I think the core of that Richmond team has probably hung around. They've got some wonderful players in there, led by the likes of Georgia Hale, and a number of other players who feature either at international level for the Kiwi Ferns and or for the Warriors in that NRLW competition. Keep an eye out as well on the second tier this year. Should be a nice competitive competition. Otahu, who we've come to know as First Division regular, they dropped down this year. Still got a couple of really handy players in that team. As we go back to the live action now, and the scrum to pack down, it's going to be a Mangere East feed, and no real urgency here. So Paquito off the back goes to Limone, who steps and looks to weave his way through, and guess who? It's Devery on hand to contain it once again. Howie Brown goes centre field, and this man, Fiao Tongia, has another one. If they had 17 of him today, may well be a different result. He's been outstanding. Lulia shakes out a one. This is nice from Mangere East, looking to finish on a high. Less than 8 to play here. Halalilo, who's shaken off that knee injury from earlier, now will go short side. Ilawa goes low, taken down just short. Delaney Cheney Puata with the crucial intervention. Nicholas Halalilo will clear the ruck, comes back to the middle. Wasn't expecting that one, perhaps. Battling his way over, and I think Mangere East have hit back. They have indeed. Sol Tahinu with a strong, spirited carry from close range. Not going to mean a whole lot in the context of this game, I wouldn't think, but a nice try and something perhaps for the Mangere East faithful to smile about.
Yes, we watch the action replay here, and really this is all just blunt strength, brute force, and good long leg stride. 4 points as he gets across the line. He carried 2 players across with him. I mean, he's a big, sizable lad, this gentleman, and certainly massive effort there. 4 points on.
Of course, keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz. We'll have the match reports and rundown from all of the Premiership action today. The same tomorrow for the women's games. Dowie push that one away to the left, so score will remain Te Atatu 34, Mangere East 18 with about 6 minutes to play here at Jack Colvin Park. And again, we'll plug the holiday blast that's coming up here at the home of the Te Atatu Roosters. Details available on the aucklandleague.co.nz website under the holiday blast tab, or also the Te Atatu Roosters Facebook page. Great initiative, and if you are around the surrounding areas and looking for something for the kids to do on the holidays, it's always a good one. Plenty of activities on. So back underway, Limoni brings it in. High scoring encounter here. Probably the quality has been impacted to some degree by the weather, particularly in the second half, but some nice tries scored nonetheless. Leotupu now gets stood up, but Johnson comes across, still running. This is a good carry from Morgan Misifoa, who's been pretty heavily involved, considering he's been in the centres for a team that's been fairly well beaten. Driven to ground now, just short of halfway. Miski involved in the tackle. That's Halalilo. Pakito. Brown. Howie Brown. Late pass at the line. Fiel Tongia just about going through. Brown jumps out of dummy half. Links with the other of the bookends. Well served in the propping room today, the Mangere East Hawks. Pakito. Nice quick play of the ball. He'll jump out. He's got Halalilo on his shoulder. We'll go to Halalilo, who's now into a bit of a mismatch out wide, but is ragdolled to ground nicely, and I think that is the handover ball there. Didn't catch the number. I think it may have been Reece Joyce, actually, that's come up with a really nice tackle on the much bigger man. And a turnover the way of the Te Atatu Roosters, who now look to get back in, rucking this ball out with about 4 minutes to go. Well, Troy, we'll get your thoughts, I guess, on the Te Atatu Roosters and where you see their strengths today, and also perhaps Mangere East, aside from the obvious, the areas of improvement for them. But in the meantime, we're going to stop there because Taulu's broken free. Cheney Puata then ragdolled to ground. Pakito comes in late to slow it down. It's a quick play of the ball nonetheless. Now David Dyer attacks. They're 30 metres short of the line here, the Roosters. Maipi goes to his right. Johnson to Piwharangi Charlie, who will centralise. They go another 10 metres there, the Roosters. Still looking for more points, still hungry. There's full-time Nares down the right side again. It's loose. That'll be 6 again, I would think. Was it played at? And bundled into touch, so I don't think it'll matter. Has there been advantage taken? We will wait to see.
So Roosters coming back in play now, and to answer Corey's question for mine, I think execution of sets, they certainly did very, very well when they were in the opposition's half. The Roosters put points on the board when it mattered, and had a pretty good kicking game as well. Mangere East probably just showing a little bit of frustration at certain times, you know, getting to 1 count, 2 count on the tackle as we get ready for the scrum to be fed.
So Roosters perhaps looking for one more Afa Veatupu with the first carry. Miski goes to his right. Piwhanangi Charlie bumps down low in front of the SS uprights. Look at the crowd that stayed on here at Jack Colvin Park despite the unfavourable conditions. Reece Joyce looping ball over the top. Johnson, quick hands. Cheney Puata, a little bit of footwork. Oh, the scramble from Mangere East. Well, that is impressive. Nothing really to play for at this stage, Mangere East, but they keep showing up for each other. Johnson. And a spilled ball by Afa Veatupu. Well, that is a positive sign for the Mangere East Hawks. Worked really hard on their line there to shut down what at one stage looked like a certain try. 34-18 down. You could forgive them for perhaps taking the foot off a little as they now work the ball forward via Tongia. This is Fial. Lamoni. I wanted to come back inside. It's touched by Atatu. This is loose and play on so far at least. Now James Dowie scoops it up. Pops the ball over the top. Oh, it's messy in all the best ways, I guess. It's exciting footy. And we've had about 17 drop balls in there. One of them had to be a knock-on, I would think. Atatu are the ones celebrating. That should just about get us to full-time. Do stay with us. After full-time, we'll be joined by both captains. We'll have a bit of a chat and get the debrief from their point of view. Dyer shakes out, finds himself on the left edge. Cale Johnson, who's had a good impact off the bench. Joyce missed, I think, the intended target, but Maipi is a man on hand to scoop that one up. Pakito, good tackle, one-on-one. Here's Peta. Siren goes in the background. Last play of the game. Miski jumps out. They might have a bit of fun here, the Atatu Roosters. Miski still running. He'll want to get an offload away if he can, and does so. Pops it out to Inu. Space now on the right-hand side. 1-0 for the Roosters. Is it Devery holding it up? Taulu was close in the corner. Has Cortez got a hat-trick? Yes, he has. Cortez Taulu scores one more with the siren having already sounded in the background. Pretty spectacular finish in the right-hand corner. We'll get a good look at it here. Devery does really well. Holds the ball up. Cortez gets the ball. And looked like he kept the body in field. Great call from our officials. And another one for Cortez in the corner. Kick to come. Atatu go out to 38. Off the boot. Flags are up. Well, when it's your day, it is your day. The Waiparaira Trust, Te Atatu Roosters, they win this one 40 points to 18 over the Mangere East Hawks. A dominant showing from the home team here at Jack Colvin Park. A short break for us before we go and catch up with the two captains. Right, now joined by James Dowie, captain of the Mangere East Hawks. Well, James, dare I say, a fairly familiar story today. Glimpses of brilliance in there, but just couldn't quite put it together consistently.
Yeah, it also comes down to hardly enough of us to play together. We just got to turn up Tuesday, Thursday, get back to the drawing board. And yeah.
There were plenty of positives, and from your point of view, what are the positives that you take into next week?
Oh, probably just that we can play that sort of style of footy in this type of weather. It's good that the boys aren't scared to throw the ball around. We're not scared to try something new. And keep turning up.
A couple of handy performances from your front row as well. Must be really nice to play behind those guys at times.
Definitely, because they're the ones that our driving room. They're the ones going to keep pushing us forward. And at the end of the day, if we don't have our forwards going forward, us backs can't do anything.
Right, James, thanks for joining us. Commiserations on the loss and all the best for next week.
Cheers, thank you.
And we're now going to bring in Jared Tua, captain of the Atatu Roosters. Well, Jared, another big win in the end there. What's the most pleasing point of that one?
I think first half, we completed a lot of good sets, and it was just back-to-back sets, which was good. We definitely wanted to work on that coming from last week's game where first half we were just not completed enough. So I think today we definitely ticked that box, and then at second half, it sort of started to get a little bit sloppy there. So still some things that we've got to fix up, but good signs. So.
That right edge must be nice to watch. You've got a nice up-close view. David Dyer and Cortez had a field day out there.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good that they're finishing those tries. They do make their fair share of errors in the middle too. It makes our job harder coming out of our end, and they're copying up the ball. But they're lucky they're scoring those tries. So I'm sure they get a bit of a blow-in on Tuesday.
Just on your pack, a couple of stand-up performances, yourself included. What's it like to be playing in this four-pack right now?
It's good. I'm probably one of the older heads in there, but a lot of young forwards there, which is really good, and a couple of local Atatu boys that have come back to the club, so it's good. It's good to see the club coming back to its glories, and hopefully we're doing the club proud and getting it back up there in the Fox.
I know Phil will find plenty for you to work on during the week. From your point of view, what are the main work-ons as you look ahead to round 3? Man,
I think with us, it's just keeping it simple. It's just completing our sets, getting to a kick, and man, the rest is history. We'll just keep working on our D and completing.
All right, Jared, thank you for joining us, and all the best for next week and the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, man.
Excellent. All right, well, that concludes our coverage here from Jack Colvin Park. We are back in action next week. Keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz for the full details. We'll see you then.